Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for another week of Locable Office Hours. We have a very special presentation today. We're going to be introducing one of our new partners, Family Features. But as always, if you have any questions, either related to this topic or things you'd like us to cover at the end, please go ahead and type them into the chat pane as we go through the presentation. We're going to start off today talking about why it's a good idea to use syndicated content. We're going to introduce you to, like I said, our new partner, Family Features. We're going to have Holly, who's joining us from Family Features, discuss how they source their content and create it so that everyone can get comfortable with their process and how we can use their material on your sites. We'll give you some tips to how to make it more local. And then Brian will join us at the end to do a demo of all the new features that will, as you'll see as we go through here, we've made this really easy for you guys to do. Huge time saver, great content for Family Features, so we're super excited to introduce and get going with that. Before we really dive into things, we wanted to take a few minutes and talk about, what problems were we really trying to solve by partnering with Family Features. And as publishers, you got to create a lot of content. You got to do it in a consistent manner. The quality of content is really important. And of course, you're always balancing, how much are you spending to create that content versus, either in terms of money or in terms of time and other resources internally. So all this stuff is really important because if you don't do all of these things, you're not going to keep readers coming back to continue to visit your site. You're not going to engage them at all, and it's going to be really hard to make any money, which of course is why we're all in business to begin with. So what can you do about it? Now, we've talked a lot in the past about the different types of articles that are available for you to create. If you missed the office hours from October 7th, I recommend you going back and checking that out. We talked about this topic in much more detail, but to quickly recap, there's three main types of articles that you can create. Original, meaning you've done all the legwork, you're writing it, you're editing it, you're posting it, you're finding the photos, and it's something very local and very probably closer to your heart than some of the other types of content. But that doesn't mean the other types of content aren't things that you need to consider. Curated content is taking other people's content and kind of, curating it into an article that is still valuable for your audience. And then the third piece is where we're going to focus the rest of today on is syndicated content, where someone else is writing it and you are posting it in its entirety in some way, shape, or form. Now, as you can see here by the arrows at the bottom, there's an inherent trade-off between the amount of time it takes to create it and the type of content. Syndicated content is probably the easiest to post to your site because it's already written. You don't have to do all that work, whereas original content, it takes a lot longer. So let's see if I can get my slides to advance. So with that said, we have Holly Rouchier from Family Features. She's the marketing manager over there, and I would like to invite her as I unmute everybody to introduce herself and to tell us a little bit about, how do Family Features get started? What do you guys do? How do you source your content? And, of course, welcome, Holly. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Ryan, and hi, everyone. I really appreciate you guys having me today. So just to give you a little bit of background, Family Features is an editorial syndicate. We are based in the middle of the country in Mission, Kansas, and we've been around for about 40 years. Actually, this year is our 40th year anniversary. So we're a small family-owned company, and what we do is we partner with brands who are looking to us as a PR tactic. So they want to really kind of get the word out about their product or their brand, but they need to do it in a very editorial type of manner. And we work with so many large publications and small publications. I mean, anywhere from 5,000 monthly circulation up to the Houston Chronicle, Chicago Sun-Times. So we've got some great big nameplate publications that really depend on our content for their weekly sections. And we've got, smaller guys and mid-sized guys that use us very heavily as well. So we partner with the brands. We create the messaging and the story. And the content is really centered around lifestyle content, home and garden, food. We really got our start in food, excuse me, in food features, and we really expanded into the home garden lifestyle sections as well. So food was our main bread and butter for a very long time, so it's something that we know incredibly well, and like I said, have many, many editors across the country that depend on us for our weekly food features. So that's kind of just a little bit of background on the editorial piece and where that content comes from. For you guys, you all can leverage our content online, and you'll see this beautiful interface that Ryan and his team created. It's really just a great seamless integration, kind of push to publish, very similar to what you guys are doing now with your content. The other option that we have available for you as well is coming to our website at editors.familyfeatures.com, and you can actually download print files if you would like to use something in a print publication. So that option is available to you guys as well. It is free content. We just ask that you simply credit our sponsor, and if you can, send us a tear sheet. If not, that's fine as well. So that is really kind of the gist of what we do and what we provide. We encourage you to take the content and localize it to really kind of suit your community if you think that's something that would be appealing to your readers. I know a lot of you guys are very local kind of community websites and publishers, and there's definitely a lot of opportunity to take our copy, take our story, and integrate something with a local angle. For example, if it's a pet, it's a pet story, it's something about, kids and pets, feel free to put a mention in about your local shelter. If it's something to do with fall lawn care and you've got a lawn care business locally that doesn't conflict with that sponsor who's giving tips for, how to take care of your yard in the fall months, certainly get that advertiser in there, get them on the page, get them in the story. We really want you guys to take this content and leverage it to, generate revenue and to engage your readers to the best of your ability. So we don't want to put any limitations on you as far as that's concerned. And if anyone needs any advice or help or examples, our website is a great resource, but we're here as well. So you can always feel free to reach out to me, and if you have a question on, how something can be used, or if there are any limitations to a particular story that you have a question on, certainly reach out and inquire, and I'll do my best to help you out. So I think that's kind of it. Did I cover everything, Ryan?
Yeah, no, I think you hit the main points that I wanted to convey to everybody. I think the really cool thing about Family Features is that they're writing all the content for the brand, so they have an eye on, making sure that it's educational, informative, and real high-quality content. A lot of the times, and I've worked with a number of companies that syndicate content over the years, a lot of times you get really crappy stuff or very generic, things. Family Features does a really good job of being a little bit more in-depth. Some of it is a little bit more generic, but it's high quality in terms of the actual content. And of course, what's really unique about them is they're like, yeah, definitely go ahead, make it local, which is, for us, one of the main reasons we ultimately chose to work with Family Features for this, particular feature, because without it, all our publishers, 99.9% of them are local focused. And as we kind of move through here to the next couple slides, we'll kind of come back to how we can further improve, the articles and make them really local and make them yours. So just to highlight, a couple things of how it works. We're kind of, looking at our technology now. For those of you who haven't noticed yet, if you go into Manage Content Articles on your website, you will now see a new tab for syndicated content. This is all the Family Features content that's coming in. Um, you can have it, by default for our existing publishers, we have it to queue, which means it will show up on this tab and you will have the choice whether to publish it to your site or not. So you have full editorial control, which is really important. For those of you who, get to know Family Features and their content and really like it all, we have two different options for auto-publishing everything. So they post content once a week, usually comes out Monday morning. This will flow into your system. So every Monday morning, publishers, you guys are going to want to come in and look at this tab and say, all right, here are the 5 stories, or here are the 10 stories, or however many you think is appropriate to mix into your content. And what happens when you hit this Add Locally button that you see highlighted on the screen is it actually takes the story and makes a local copy just for your site. So, it's not like a lot of other syndication where, the article is set in stone, you can't do anything to it, and if it's one way on your site, it's the same on everybody else's site. We didn't do it that way purposefully. So when you hit the Add Locally button, it's actually going to pop up the new article screen with everything pre-populated. This is the opportunity you have to come in and say, all right, let's add reference to local businesses. Maybe you want to swap out the pictures, use more local focused pictures. You can change the categories. You can add tags. You can even schedule things out to the future. And then it's just like any other article. When you hit publish, it's going to show up in your normal feed. If you go to your home page, you can choose to promote or pin it. And as Brian will talk to in a few minutes, we have a lot of different ways in which you can now feature content either on your home page or in your sidebar, which is all done as part of this Family Features integration. So we'll get to that in a second. But before we do, I want to just kind of go back to what Holly was talking about before and how to localize their content. You'll see in the bottom right, if you're on that new, on the Manage Content Articles page under the Syndicated tab, you'll see 2 buttons. One is Learn How to Make It Local. So all of these tips and what you can and can't do, the page that Holly was referring to earlier on when she was talking, you can click this button and it will take you to that page. So really easy. You don't have to remember the URL. It's there for you whenever you need it. The second button underneath will take you to that editors.familyfeatures.com address that she mentioned before. So if you see an article that you really like and you're like, wow, I'd really like to put that in print, click that button. You can search for it right in the sidebar and download the print version of it. And again, as we talk about how to localize content, she already mentioned a couple of these, but I want to walk through them in a little bit more detail. Use it as an idea starter. We work it to include quotes from local businesses. Find a local expert. Make a quick call and say, hey, we're creating an article on our site. We'd love to get your opinion on this. Would you mind giving us a quote? Most people love to get their name out. They like to see themselves in the media. It's an easy way to kind of supplement what Family Features is already providing. We already mentioned, feel free to swap in out photos. If it's about local people, find pictures of local people. If it's about local parks, find a local park, something that's recognizable to a lot of people in the community. That way, when the article is shared, to Facebook, for example, you will see the local park. People will make a stronger connection with the article. And even though this is a sponsored article, meaning that there's a brand paying for this placement, it doesn't mean that it still can't be valuable for your readers. Incorporate related local stories. So, maybe you find a nice recipe that you want to use and you happen to know that, there's a new chef in town at a new restaurant that, deals in that type of food. Call them up, ask them for a second recipe, add that in there. Maybe you do a profile on that person and link out to that. There's a lot of different things you can do, again, coming back to the theme that we've talked about over and over again of reusing content, making it local, finding different ways to present it, and finding different ways to distribute it, whether that's Facebook, email. All of these stories or articles that you're posting for Family Features should be shared on Facebook. They should be included in your weekly email that goes out, along with all the other content. This last point on the left-hand column is really a strong one or important one in my opinion. If it's host a cooking club, add your town name. Host a cooking club in Hanover, or host a cooking club in, Tewksbury, or wherever it may be. Their only requirement, as Holly said before, is please just leave the links in and the credit for the sponsors, because that's what they're paying for. Other than that, you have a lot of flexibility in what you can do. Events, we talk about reusing events a lot in the past few weeks. If the article is related to local events in some way, add a section to the bottom saying, here's where you can do whatever, and pick 3 events from your calendar. If you remember back to the earlier slide when I talked about original content, curated content, and syndicated content, you might notice now that I'm starting to blend the line a little bit between syndicated and curated. That's totally okay. It's still a huge time saver because you're not writing the original article. And this last one, applies to digital, but it's also a little bit more for print, but feel free to modify the layout, add in a print ad. Maybe you want to go out and, find a related business and sell them an ad for a sponsorship of this article. We've talked about that a lot in the past too. All of these things are good ways to kind of localize the content and take advantage of the great content that Family Features is providing us. So with that said, Holly, if you have anything else you want to chime in, or Brian, otherwise I'm going to pass the presenter role over to Brian and let him jump into a demo to show you how to actually use all the cool features that we've built for you guys.
I'm good, Ryan. That was a great explanation. Thank you.
Awesome. You're very welcome.
All right, so I'm going to quickly run through how we're using Family Features on our first owned and operated site. So we've been planning to launch a site in a market near us for some time, and the right set of things had to come together. So we're mixing in Family Features content with some original reporting, like high school sports and so forth. And Ryan already gave you the preview of how this works. So before I go into a deep dive on that, I want to show you what some of the net effects are. We've recently introduced the notion of topics and expanded the featured categories on the home page, and you'll see that we've added a couple topics to the sidebar here. One of the topics is Halloween, one of the topics is Family Features food. And now what's great about this is when content is published under this notion of Family Features food, it automatically appears here. And because we've set up the site to have it auto-publish every time it's available, and we're mapping their categories to our site categories, this automatically updates. So Monday morning, new content shows up. I don't have to go to auburn.locable.com to do anything given how we've set it up. So we're using it in the sidebar, and we've also got a couple running on the home page. Now, because Family Features, we've only been pulling in their content for a few weeks, you'll notice that there's not quite fully populated in some of these categories yet. Over the next week or two, these will get fully fleshed out on each category, but you'll see food does have a lot of content there. So I'm being a little redundant having it on the home page and the sidebar. That's intentional because the sidebar is frankly on nearly every page. So as Ryan was saying, you've got some great access here to come in and to manage your site. So I'm going to go through the process here, and you've got your local articles as they appear on your site. You'll also notice as you scroll down, content that is added from Family Features gets shared in here. And so I'm going to come up and I'm going to go to the Syndicated tab, and I'm going to grab this spooky Halloween drink ideas everyone will love, and I'm going to click Add It Locally. Now I'm going quickly, but you notice the Family Features logo, learn how to make them local, the free use in print if you're a print publication. So these resources are on the page for you there. So be aware and definitely utilize that. So when you click that button, what's really fantastic, we built it this way on purpose, but it's fun to see things come together, is that the article is ready to publish now. I don't have to do anything else if I don't want to. However, if I do want to make changes, if I want to add some local references and add the links and perhaps reference upcoming events and using the insert feature that we've built into the system, you can do all of those things. It's really quite flexible for you. And of course, you'll notice that it's using these tags and topics automatically. Now, what I'd like to do here in this case, because not only is this a family features piece, but it's related to Halloween, I'm going to add that topic. The system doesn't quite know enough to do that automatically for you. So whether you're manually publishing, as I am with this article, or revisiting an article that was auto-published, you can always add and re-tag and categorize if you would like. And now simply I can set to publish, or perhaps what you'd like to do is have a new family features article appear on the site each day of the week, so you can schedule those out. That does require manual sort of intervention as opposed to auto-publishing, but it's a great way for you to mix things up. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to publish that article. And now, of course, you've got your URL, and you've got your article, which looks very good and is ready to be shared. So you can take this immediately. You can share it to Facebook. This particular example perhaps is a bit overly redundant given that I'm on this page and it automatically appeared in each of the sidebar items, but you can see it does work, which is very nice, and it updates in real time. So there's a lot of things that you can do to use this. And again, if you decide, you know what, maybe I don't want this article, for whatever reason I added it, now I want to remove it, I can delete this. It is removed from the system. And if I come back to Syndicated and go, oh, I deleted it, I didn't mean to delete that one, I can go ahead and re-add it back. So there's some great flexibility to go back and forth to really custom tune these for your website. In a moment, we're going to open it up for some questions, but I hope what you'll do is get in here, play around with it, try publishing, see how that works, make some edits, do some localization, spend a few minutes. As Ryan said, look, this content is good content. It's interesting content. And when you can localize it and use it to your advantage, in addition to your original content, it just gives you a lot more draw. And of course, you should be sharing these to Facebook and your email newsletter as well as part of your normal content sharing mix.
All right, thank you, Brian. That just about wraps up today's office hours. I can't say enough how excited we are to be working with Family Features. They've already proven to be a great partner through the development cycle. We're really looking forward to continuing to improve the integration and work with them even closer over the coming months. But of course, we need the help of the publishers to make this worthwhile for both of us. So, please let us know if you want us to auto-publish the content. Feel free to give us a ring. We can set that up for you. If not, make sure every Monday morning to pop into the system and pick your favorite 3 or 4 or 5 articles and either schedule them out or publish them for everyone to see. I think you'll find as you become more and more comfortable with the type of content they're creating that you can do a lot of great things around different themes. So, for example, Halloween this week has been a big one. Over the last 2 weeks, they've been posting a lot of Halloween content. You can create either that sidebar widget or that featured content section on the homepage and be like, here's all the Halloween stuff. It's a great way to kind of call out holidays and kind of promote the different things going on in your community. There's a lot of different things you can do, with those featured content blocks. So we encourage you to experiment. And with that, that just about wraps it up for today. So if you have any questions, please go ahead and type them into the chat pane, and we'll address them before we wrap up. Thanks, everyone.